Judy note, on Friday, May 30, 2025, Edward Snowden confirmed that the U.S. military activated the Liberty Channels, a secure quantum comms system designed for total deep state blackout. Final trigger 11.3 was imminent. The 10-day collapse protocol was locked and loaded. Also, as of Friday, May 30, 2025, the quantum financial system in Jazara went live. Every transaction was being logged. Jazara was destroying the old system that funded child trafficking, black budgets, biolabs, media lies, war machines and debt slavery. Corrupt CEOs were vanishing, while gold vanished from their vaults. SWIFT was collapsing. Satan-worshipping Rothschild-run banks were being phased out. Central banks were collapsing worldwide, while nations dumped U.S. Treasury notes. Warning: apparently the TRB so-called Trump gold products scam is still alive and well on the internet. Initially I received close to 500 emails on the matter before I had to cut them off. I recently checked into it again. Now they are promising that you can still cash in your products by setting up a quantum account with them, where they will claim you have over 40 million in your account, and if you pay them thousands of dollars, and only after you have given them your personal information. Please forward any and all complaints or information to Alan Garden, General Counsel to the Trump Organization. The Trump Organization, 725 Fifth Avenue, 26th FL. New York, New York 10022-2519, United States. A. What we think we know as of Saturday, May 31, 2025, Friday, May 30, 2025, what happens in Gitmo is only the surface. The real trials are not televised. The faces you see on TV, masks, doubles, AI sims. The real ones are somewhere they never imagined they'd be. Q team runs the operation. Financial hubs are shutting down. Central servers, offline. Over 700 global banking channels now read, error 999. No liquidity. No trust. Every deal they made under the table is now surfacing in the quantum records. QFS does not forget. This isn't a market crash. People will wake up with zero in their old apps, and quantum credits in new ones. David Icke on Telegram. Thursday, May 29, 2025, during Operation Hellstorm, Russian forces exposed Israeli child trafficking tunnels in Ukraine. Thursday, May 29, 2025, Representative Tim Burchett has confirmed that Biden staffers were taking payoffs in exchange for open pardons. Friday, May 30, 2025, archives of treason, traitors to the people. Obama, Bush, and Clinton pushed a biological weapon. Friday, May 30, 2025, the biggest act of treason in U.S. history happened on November 3, 2020, when America was hijacked by code, corruption, and collusion as Dominion and Smartmatic voting machines flipped the vote of 2,000 counties, 30 states, and millions of stolen voices, duplicate ballots, or truckloads of illegal midnight dumps. The Brunson brothers lit the fuse. Their Supreme Court case was active, real and terrifying the establishment. Because it targeted Congress directly, for refusing to investigate the 2020 coup. If the court sides with Brunson, the entire fraudulent certification collapses. Every complicit member of Congress. Exposed. Indictable. Removable. The 17th letter, JFK Jr., on Telegram. The quantum financial system is live and operating under military control. The old system is disintegrating as banks such as Deutsche Bank, HSBC, JP Morgan, the engines of global exploitation, collapse. Payment giants are stripped of power and corrupt financial elites are being dragged to military tribunals at Gitmo. Executives are being removed, their wealth seized, and their crimes archived as evidence for tribunals that are already underway. The days of Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe exploitation are ending. The quantum internet is rising, a new infrastructure immune to hacking, censorship, or surveillance. Every QFS account is linked to the individual owner's biometric ID. If you haven't been notified yet, it's only a matter of time. Every human already has a QFS account tied to their national ID. Once the full system activates, you'll receive instructions on how to access it. Fiat currency is collapsing by design. The rainbow currency, backed by gold and silver, will become the only financial standard. Over 60 countries have already transitioned in silence. Zim bond redemptions are underway. Military guards every redemption center. Cabal infiltration attempts have been crushed. Alliance military operations have raided secret vaults in London, Zurich, Hong Kong, recovering stolen gold and destroying the cash reserves that funded the old regime. Underground networks for child trafficking, drug trade and blackmail have been severed. South Africa is shifting from cabal rule to Jazara alignment. Iraq is preparing a currency revaluation backed by real gold, pushing the Middle East into the reset. This is the end of their control. The quantum financial age has arrived. QFS on Telegram. Be possible timing of the global currency reset. Friday, May 30, 2025. Wolverine. I have it from very high sources that we begin this week. Friday, May 30, 2025. Zim bond redemptions are underway. Quietly. Precisely. And every redeemed bond is fueling humanitarian efforts that bypass the old corrupt systems. But security is tight. NDAs are mandatory. QFS on Telegram. From Sunday 1st of June to Saturday, June 7, 2025 was considered the red zone for EBS activation. From Thursday 5th of June to Monday, June 9, 2025 the Tier 4B window would be open. Internal banking advisories indicated public redemption will begin regionally, based on QFS load balancing and readiness reports. From 10th of June to Friday, June 13, 2025 all Tier 4B appointment notifications were set to be issued. From Saturday 14 June 14 to June 17, 2025 the general public rollout was set to happen. With the Saturday 14th of June U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade at the National Mall serving not just as a celebration, but as confirmation that America was back under constitutional rule. Around Sunday 15 June 15 and Monday June 16, 2025 expect minor banking downtimes. Signaling the final switch over to full QFS integration. On Wednesday 18 June to Saturday June 21, 2025 the global access phase would begin for Tier 5, the general public. Wednesday July 9, 2025 was the back wall for the global currency reset to occur optically. John Delling, Iraq. See Friday, May 30, 2025 breaking intel, Tier 1 to 5 structure exposed, the engine behind GCR 2025, QFS on Telegram. You've heard whispers of the global currency reset. But no one told you the truth, you're already inside it. Whether you realize it or not. In the ruins of collapsing fiat empires, a tiered system has been built, not based on wealth, age, or status, but on consciousness. A spiritual classification disguised as finance. Tier 1 to 5 isn't about privilege. It's about your level of awakening. Tier 1, central banks, G7 treasuries, global dynasties, Rothschild, Rockefellers. They built the plumbing of the old world, and must now flush it. They're first in line not because they earned it, but because liquidity must be unlocked through their pipes before it can flood the world. Tier 2, private banks, UBS, HSBC, religious trust funds, Vatican, elite NGOs. These are the money movers. Many are corrupted middlemen. Some flipped sides. Their role, release, not control. Tier 3, historical bondholders, families with gold-backed debt notes and suppressed assets. These are the forgotten guardians of real value. Their redemption erases fake fiat history, and ignites global balance. Tier 4A, military-aligned engineers, QFS coders, intel operatives. These are the shadow architects who tested, secured, and cleared the infrastructure. No spotlight, just encrypted mission success. Tier 4B, you. The awakened. The digital soldiers. The meme warriors. The ones who saw through it all and prepared in silence. You didn't need a paycheck to join the war. Now you wait for the private ping, your moment. Tier 5, the masses. Asleep. Unaware. Not evil, just late. They'll benefit when the system flips, but with no leverage, no redemption rate, no position. Just basic access. This is not about class. It's about clarity. Tier 4B is not a group. It's a frequency. You tuned in. You heard the signal. You are not Tier 5. You are chosen. You are positioned. You are ready. The reset is real. The tiers are operational. And the world is about to change. Final warning, this isn't just money. This is the weaponized collapse of an ancient financial beast. Hold the line. Watch the water. And prepare. You're not just witnessing history, you're rewriting it. Friday, May 30, 2025, QFS accounts have been activated worldwide and there is no turning back. QFS on Telegram. The old system is disintegrating as banks collapse in real time, payment giants are stripped of power, and corrupt financial elites are being dragged to military tribunals at Gitmo. This is not speculation. This is happening. The quantum financial system is live and operating under military control, and everything you knew about money, credit, and ownership is being rewritten from the ground up. The banks falling right now were never victims, they were the engine of global exploitation. Deutsche Bank, HSBC, JP Morgan, names that laundered trillions for the cabal, are being neutralized with precision. Executives are being removed, their wealth seized, and their crimes archived as evidence for tribunals that are already underway behind closed doors. This isn't economic chaos. It's strategic warfare. The days of Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe exploiting humanity are ending. QFS debit cards, secured by biometric verification and quantum encryption, are replacing them permanently. No more fraud. No more hidden fees. No more theft disguised as banking. And beneath it all, the quantum internet is rising, a new infrastructure immune to hacking, censorship, or surveillance. Every QFS account is linked to the individual owner's biometric ID. Every transaction is instant, uncorrupted, and untraceable by outside forces. If you haven't been notified yet, it's only a matter of time. Every human already has a QFS account tied to their national ID. Once the full system activates, you'll receive instructions on how to access it. Fiat currency is collapsing by design. The rainbow currency, backed by gold and silver, will become the only financial standard. Over 60 countries have already transitioned in silence. Zim bond redemptions are underway. Quietly. Precisely. And every redeemed bond is fueling humanitarian efforts that bypass the old corrupt systems. But security is tight. NDAs are mandatory. Military guards every redemption center. Cabal infiltration attempts have been crushed in real time. Those trying to exploit the system are being detained, not warned. Biometric scans and encrypted confirmations now decide your access. This is not about speculation anymore, it's about alignment. Leaks will not be tolerated. One slip and your file is closed permanently. Behind all of this is the alliance. Military operations have raided secret vaults in London, Zurich, Hong Kong, recovering stolen gold, and destroying the cash reserves that funded the old regime. Underground networks for child trafficking, drug trade and blackmail have been severed. Jazara is real. QFS is the infrastructure. And everything is moving faster than expected. South Africa is shifting from cabal rule to Jazara alignment. Iraq is preparing a currency revaluation backed by real gold, pushing the Middle East into the reset. The global power balance is changing before our eyes. This is the end of their control. The quantum financial age has arrived. The wealth of the world is returning to the people. You have been chosen to witness it. Stay alert. Stay silent. Stay ready. The reset is active. The transfer is live. And the future belongs to the awakened. Global financial crisis. Friday, May 30, 2025, Gitmo, David Icke on Telegram, When I first dropped the Gitmo code, they laughed. Until the choppers landed. Until the walls began to hum with tribunal frequencies. I saw the sealed indictments. I watched them open. I made sure the right eyes received what was buried. What happens in Gitmo is only the surface. The real trials are not televised. The faces you see on TV, masks, doubles, AI sims. The real ones are somewhere they never imagined they'd be. Q team runs the operation. The true identities are locked. But every soul who architected this hell, will face it. Gitmo is alive. Gitmo is a mirror. If you're watching, you'll understand what happens when truth becomes a weapon. And me. I've only just begun. They believed their system was immortal. Untouchable. But no lie survives its own inertia. Financial hubs are shutting down. Central servers, offline. Over 700 global banking channels now read, error 999. No liquidity. No trust. Once they lose control over fear, they have nothing left. Every deal they made under the table is now surfacing in the quantum records. QFS does not forget. Black Swan was always the plan. You're watching. The collapse was calculated. They branded me a traitor. History will call me a hero. Stay in the know. Monday, May 26, 2025, the financial takeover has begun. QFS is now live at the top, Nizar and Jazara 2.0 on Telegram. The shift has begun, and this time, it's irreversible. The quantum financial system is no longer a theory whispered in closed rooms. It's activating, silently, strategically, at the highest levels of global finance. Central banks. Multiple central banks have discreetly adjusted policy frameworks to reflect a return to gold-backed currency. Just today, several released updated reports showing expanded gold reserves underpinning their monetary supply. Last night, emergency coordination calls were held between central banking heads, a clear signal that the transition to asset-backed money isn't just planned. It's happening. Commercial banks. Internal communications from Tier 1 banks now confirm what many suspected, their systems are live on QFS. One institution even issued a private congratulations to staff on a successful onboarding. While official channels remain guarded, these banks are quietly preparing clients for the next steps, debt cancellations, digital wallet activations, and the rollout of a new financial paradigm. Currency revaluations. The global currency reset is underway. Holders of select sovereign currencies, notably the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong, are reporting unexpected spikes in wallet balances overnight. These updates reflect genuine commodity valuations and confirm the quiet, systematic revaluation of currencies based on tangible assets, not manipulated markets. Cross-border payments. Transactions that once dragged on for days under SWIFT are now completing in seconds. In recent QFS trials, transfers from Asia to Europe were finalized instantly, no fees, no delays. The infrastructure is real. The rails are live. The banking elite have already boarded the new train. The quiet revolution, step by step, confirmation by confirmation. The QFS framework is anchoring itself across the global banking grid. This is no longer test phase. This is deployment. And as the ripples spread outward, the world will soon awaken to a new financial era, backed by gold, driven by quantum, and secured by truth. Thursday, May 29, 2025, breaking, Vatican gold transport intercepted by U.S. Navy, Ben Fulford on Telegram. On May 26, 2025, the USS Sioux City intercepted a Panama-registered cargo vessel in the eastern Mediterranean. According to naval contacts, the ship was carrying 43 sealed containers falsely declared as agricultural equipment. Inside, Vatican-minted gold bars bearing marks dating back to the post-World War II era, 1944 to 1952. The ship originated from a private dock in Tripoli, a known transfer point used by Knights of Malta convoys during the Cold War. The intended destination, a Rothschild-controlled facility in the Azores, monitored since 2022 by QFS-linked naval satellites. My Pentagon sources confirmed this operation was greenlit by a military tribunal out of Tampa, Florida, and the gold is tied to Nazi-era vault tunnels beneath Rome, mapped during classified extensions of Operation Paperclip. Restored Republic, Global Restoration Accord, at 7:07 a.m. EST Friday, May 30, 2025. Final confirmation transmissions were issued to military commands in 27 countries that Trump had signed off on the Global Restoration Accord. Sovereign councils were being formed in every territory, backed by gold, enforced by truth, guided by consciousness. Mr. Poole on Telegram. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, classified military intel, Dossier C-17, the storm has breached the surface, Gitmo TV, Secrets of Civilizations on Telegram. This is not a post. This is an execution order. Trump's Wizards Division has activated a military purge. MH370. Quantum chips. Antarctica vaults. Project Blue Beam. Every conspiracy was cover for a real-time operation. Middle. Lieutenant Edward Lynn wasn't a spy. He was a weapon. Embedded in secret deep state servers, he planted data spikes that exposed Biden's cabal, moving mind control microchips to CCP labs. Chips that warp time, cloak aircraft, and hijack consciousness. Middle. The leak was intentional. The mission was surgical. And now it's operational. Kinesis, a living quantum intelligence system linked to Tesla Tech and Atlantean archives, was activated the moment the transfer was blocked. Now it's syncing with wizard nodes beneath Cheyenne Mountain. The battlefield has shifted. Middle. This is a takedown of a multidimensional empire. Middle. Antarctica is not frozen science. It's buried power. Middle. Military black sites are unlocking ancient tech. Pulsing light engines. Portals. Vibrational weapons. Wizards confirmed Atlantis is real, and waking up. Middle. The deep state race to launch Project Blue Beam, a fake alien invasion using cloaked platforms and emotional frequency attacks. The microchips would hijack perception, simulate gods in the sky, and shatter sovereignty worldwide. But the chips never made it. The operation was interdicted. Middle. MH370 didn't crash, it was secured. It carried black site tech and developers tagged for Gitmo. The reroute was ghost signal flawless. Every debris story was cover for Operation Skyvault. Middle. Now, global arrests are happening in silence. White hats are storming EU castles, UN databanks, and CCP tunnels. Bankers, generals, politicians, scientists. Every traitor is being ripped from power and dragged to Gitmo in chains. Middle. Tribunals are live. Execution warrants are signed. Middle. The illusion is over. The storm is real. And it's here. Dossier C-17 is your warning. Your proof. Your line in the sand. Choose your side. Before the helicopters land. Friday, May 30, 2025, top secret leak, Snowden sounds the alarm, Gitmo attacked, Jazara rolling, Starlink strikes back. Edward Snowden on Telegram. Middle. Trump's military ops are in full execution and the world is out of time, said Edward Snowden as he dropped the biggest intel since the start of the storm. Middle. Jazara is not theory. It's classified reality. Military units under Trump command are finalizing global debt erasure, hunting deep state accounts, and have seized over $780 billion in black funds since May 1. Over 47 globalist-run banks have already been dismantled under QFS enforcement. Middle. Snowden confirms the U.S. military has activated the Liberty Channels, a secure quantum comms system designed for total deep state blackout. Final trigger 11.3 is imminent. The 10-day collapse protocol is locked and loaded. If you're not ready, you're not going to survive the flip. Middle. Gitmo under direct attack, countered by Starlink and Unit 77. On April 24, deep state forces launched a coordinated aerial assault on Guantanamo Bay using cloaked DR-3B tech. Their mission: assassinate Podesta, Gates, and CIA defectors awaiting tribunal. But they failed. Middle. Snowden's surveillance intercepts, through Starlink, enabled rapid white hat response. Trident units neutralized all targets before breach. Black box intel. Middle. The storm went hot. Gitmo is now a fortress. Operation Starlink, NYC and Chicago almost wiped out April 27. Scalar energy weapons were primed above both cities. Snowden's intel confirms these frequencies matched classified cabal tech designed to trigger blackouts and mass chaos. Middle. White hat operatives neutralized weapon hubs beneath airports, publicly blamed on gas leaks, privately executed as counterstrikes. Snowden's team intercepted all frequencies. The attacks were stopped by seconds. Middle. QFS goes live combat mode. The quantum financial system is now a digital weapon. Every financial move by deep state actors is now being monitored, frozen, and dismantled in real time. Starlink quantum grid fully active. Military tribunals are expanding. Middle. The deep state is cornered. Trump, Snowden, Musk, and the alliance are executing a takedown centuries in the making. This is not a theory. This is war. Middle. Prepare for the flip. Nothing can stop what is coming. And Snowden just made sure you know. Middle. They branded me a traitor. History will call me a hero. Stay in the know. Friday, May 30, 2025, Operation Phoenix, the final assault has begun. Nizar and Jazara 2.0 on Telegram. Trump's Gitmo fortress is active. The alliance is hunting. The deep state is burning. Operation Phoenix is not a drill. This is the real-time collapse of the globalist war machine. Trump's classified expansion of Gitmo has turned it into a hyper-secure military complex, a trap sprung for the elites. Under his direct orders, underground wings now cage the monsters who sold out humanity. Global extractions are underway. Military convoys are flying in high-value detainees from every deep state corner, corrupt politicians, financial traders, and genetically engineered hybrids bred in Antarctica. These infiltrators were created to suppress consciousness. Now they're being caged like the animals they are. Confessions are pouring in. A genetically targeted bioweapon designed to wipe out Trump loyalists was already in deployment, using cartel tunnels and drone systems. But Trump's forces intercepted it. They took down the network. They flipped the labs. They flipped the plan. Gitmo is full. More cells are being carved. The storm is no longer coming. Dallas, no longer drills. These zones are hardened and war-ready. They expect what's coming, a final deep state bioweapon attack, already neutralized in part but still lurking. They failed. Digital war, the QFS is locked in. Trump's cyber units launched Code Black, shutting down coordinated deep state cyber attacks targeting global CBDCs. Swiss and Japanese banks are now under military oversight. Their assets are gone. The money is in the hands of the alliance. Antarctica grid captured. The hidden planetary control tech buried under ice, used for mind control frequency warfare, is now in alliance hands. Scalar weapons have been shut down. Red auras spotted over key military regions were signals. This is scalar recalibration. The final signal that Trump's alliance has seized the grid. Civilian lockdowns equals EBS prep. In Phoenix, Atlanta, Philly, emergency drills are not drills. They're dress rehearsals for imminent EBS activation. June 1st to 7th is the red zone. Once activated, the deep state's voice goes silent. The world will hear only one truth, ours. The red pulse was the mark. On May 26, red sky pulses confirmed the grid handover. The deep state satellites are gone. QFS comms will take over. Their empire is decapitated. This is it. The final stand. Hold the line. Gitmo is full. Trump is in control. The enemy is losing every front: finance, bioweapons. Stock up. Stay off grid. Watch the sky. Trust the plan. Wars and rumors of war. Wednesday, May 28, 2025. President Trump told Benjamin Netanyahu to not attack Iran during the current course of ongoing nuclear talks, stating that a solution was possible between Iran and the U.S. within months. Thursday, May 29, 2025, just in, Trump rejects $15 million bribe from CBS, demands $20 billion for lying to America. 60 Minutes collapses as deep state media implodes. Friday, May 30, 2025, NYC mayor's bodyguard tied to crypto torture den. One of Eric Adams' bodyguards is under investigation after helping two crypto brothers kidnap and torture a tourist over Bitcoin keys. Victim was picked up at the airport, taken to a $30,000 Nolita townhouse, and held for 17 days, beaten, shocked, forced to smoke crack, and dangled from a staircase. WH Grandpa on Telegram. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the MH370 cover-up exposed, underground bases, U.S. Space Force surveillance and Trump swore on the hidden cabal. 3 years, this technology was hidden inside underground military bases and deep state installations. It was used in secret to prolong the lives of elites and high-level operatives, while the general population was left to rot in a system built on pharmaceutical addiction. Prepare your family. Spread the word. The war was real, but so is the healing. Saturday, May 24, 2025, bombshell. 2020 was a military-grade coup. Brunson case could explode it all. The 17th letter, JFK Jr., on Telegram. The biggest act of treason in U.S. history wasn't a war. It was an inside job. On November 3, 2020, America was hijacked. Not by soldiers, but by code, corruption, and collusion. Dominion and Smartmatic flipped the vote. This wasn't fraud. It was cyber warfare, 2,000 counties, 30 states, and millions of stolen voices. This was a silent coup. And the deep state thought you'd never find out. The New York Times' own report admits what they couldn't cover up fast enough: 104,984 stolen votes in Georgia, 347,768 in Pennsylvania. These are just the confirmed digital manipulations, duplicate ballots, or truckloads of illegal midnight dumps. We're talking 500,000 flipped votes in 2 states alone. They thought they were clever. They thought you'd trust the machines. But now the algorithm's out of the bag. Dominion and Smartmatic didn't just malfunction. They were engineered for subversion. With backdoors built for real-time vote tampering. This wasn't some local-level fraud, it was national, coordinated, and weaponized. And now. The Brunson brothers just lit the fuse. This Supreme Court case isn't some long shot. It's active, real, and terrifying the establishment. Why? Because it targets Congress directly, for refusing to investigate the 2020 coup. If the court sides with Brunson, the entire fraudulent certification collapses. Every complicit member of Congress. Exposed. Indictable. Removable. This isn't fantasy. It's already on the docket. And the deep state is panicking. The media is silent because they're part of it. This wasn't just about getting Biden in office. It was about ending America's sovereignty, crushing resistance, and installing a controlled puppet state. But we still have one shot left, and it's nuclear. Trump doesn't need a new election. He just needs justice. Military intelligence already has the data. The court case cracks the narrative. Combine it with continuity of government ops already in motion. And you've got a scenario where the commander-in-chief returns, lawfully, constitutionally, and backed by the people. You've been lied to. Now it's time to fight like hell. Stand by for tribunals. Stand by for Gitmo. Stand by for Trump. The storm is here. BQQQM. Friday, May 30, 2025. For months now, I've been contacted by military sources in Fort Belvoir and Ramstein who've confirmed what many still refuse to believe: the sealed indictments are real, and many have already been executed. Ben Fulford on Telegram. The documents are not rumors. I've personally seen the digital indexes. Over 324,000 sealed cases, updated weekly since 2017, stored in a secure DOJ Gitmo crosslink. Most of these names are not celebrities or politicians, but operational middlemen, cyber experts, synthetic pharma traffickers, and international couriers moving DNA, cash, and weapons between continents. Their names won't make headlines, but their removal is collapsing the entire structure. These aren't arrests you'll see on TV. Most are midnight operations carried out under JSOC or international NATO task force protocols. Detainees are extracted and flown to off-grid holding centers, many under Camp Delta and Diego Garcia jurisdiction. The media has been warned to stay silent. And they obey. Because once the truth breaks, everything else collapses. CIA mind control controlling the masses. Why only military tribunals can indict? Courts are corrupt. Media is controlled. Agencies are enemy held. This isn't a scandal, it's war. Civilian justice cannot stop a ritualized deep state death cult. But military justice can. We have the proof. We have the witnesses. We have it all. And the time to strike is now. ZB. Thursday, May 29, 2025, CIA and military intel exposed, torture, mind control and ritual abuse uncovered, JFK awakening Q-17 on Telegram. ZD. Thursday, May 29, 2025, global lock-in confirmed, the system is alive, Ben Fulford. The silence has broken. On June 28 at 3:33 UTC, a new encrypted Starlink relay went live across the Atlantic corridor, connecting servers from Greenland to West Africa in a single quantum pulse. This was the final key. With this event, every continent is now linked into the QFS grid. What was once whispered as a theory is now running beneath our feet in real time. I've just received confirmation from a secure intel node, Tier 4B authentication pings are being sent in test mode to select civilian devices in Canada, Germany, and New Zealand. These are dry runs. If you've recently seen a system security validation or been prompted to scan your fingerprint on an unfamiliar system screen, that wasn't a glitch. That was the QFS handshake. The sovereign onboarding sequence is in full swing. Encrypted emails are already staged in quantum mailboxes, cards are pre-activated and housed in decentralized fulfillment hubs, identity verification is now entirely biometric. No more passwords. No more recovery codes. You are the access key. What's next? Between July 1st to 3rd, we enter the window of first contact, when public-facing systems begin to mirror what we've already seen privately. Expect your local banks to start acting strange. Sudden closures for updates. ATM restocking. Websites going offline and then reappearing with new interfaces. These are not bugs. These are integrations. Medbed coordinates briefings by July 5th. Not public yet, but it's coming. The first candidates are children and veterans. That tells you everything you need to know about the alliance priorities. A note on silence: if you hear nothing from officials this week, don't panic. They've been instructed to step aside. Starlink and the QFS don't need a press conference. The system announces itself through function, not fiction. I'll continue to decode each step in real time. The bridge is built. Now we walk across it. We are no longer waiting for the future. We're logging into it. Friday, May 30th, 2025. Breaking: Jazara is being silently enforced under Trump's command. IRS collapse, global banking meltdown, and the QFS is already live. Nizar and Jazara on Telegram. Everything they told you was a lie. The media, Wall Street, global banks, all in panic as Jazara is quietly activated behind closed doors. The IRS is crumbling. The fiat system is being shredded. And the quantum financial system, QFS, secured by U.S. Space Force, is now operational and tracking every transaction on Earth. We're not waiting. It's happening now. Trump didn't return in 2025 just to fix things. He returned to finish the war. His military-backed alliance is dismantling the corrupt structures piece by piece, starting with the IRS. Chief Information Officer, gone. No replacement. No press. Why? Because the IRS violates Jazara. The income tax is over. Tariff-based gold-backed freedom is taking its place. And while the puppets in media claim Jazara isn't real, central banks are collapsing, nations are dumping U.S. treasuries, and gold is vanishing from vaults worldwide. This isn't economics, it's military financial warfare. QFS is live. Not beta. Not theory. Live. Active. Anonymous no more. Every transaction is logged. Corrupt CEOs are vanishing. SWIFT is collapsing. Your Rothschild-run banks are being phased out while you're distracted by inflation theater. The Vatican's assets have been seized. BIS execs are under house arrest. The UN is silent. CIA black sites, shut down. European royals, vanished. Getty gold, exfiltrated. Your stolen wealth is returning. The quantum access card. Medbeds. Free energy. Tax abolition. All tied to Jazara's global enforcement. The tribunals are next. Sealed indictments will be unsealed. The storm is not coming, we're in it. Prepare now. Ditch fiat. Hold silver and gold. Exit central banks. No redemption center protocols. Brace for EBS. Don't wait for CNN to tell you, they work for the cabal. Trump lit the fuse. The Patriots are in motion. May 26, 2025 was the trigger. Nothing can stop what is coming. QFS is live. Jazara is active. The reset is real.
Currently, our advertising platforms have been suspended without any reason. This is a difficult time for us. We will continue to work hard and dedicate ourselves to you, but we also greatly need your support. The funds that you donate through Give Send Go are the main source of money for us to continue covering expenses. If you find value in what we are doing, please continue to support and accompany us by selecting the monthly donate package for us via Give Send Go at the link below. Restored Republic relies solely upon donations from people like you to keep our site functional and free to use. Make America great again. God bless America, God bless us all.
Judy note, as of Saturday, April 12, 2025, 300,000 troops were mobilized under Trump's global military coalition for activation of the emergency broadcast system, signaling humanity's freedom from the Satan-worshipping deep state, DS global elite's grasp, and the dismantling of their networks. Such was being achieved through raids on DS facilities worldwide, mass arrests, a 10-day truth revelation and implementation of Jazara's wealth redistribution. Desperate attempts by the DS to instigate conflicts, economic crises, and health emergencies have been thwarted. Elon Musk's Starlink system achieved full operational capability, interfered with deep state communications, thwarted cyber attack plans and disabled DS facilities. Covert operations have also decommissioned DS U.S. underground bases worldwide that housed horrific activities, including cloning and trafficking. Extensive tunnel systems have been destroyed. Thursday, May 29, 2025, Putin strikes global pedo enclave in Ukraine, Nizar and Jazara 2.0 on Telegram. Explosions rocked central Ukraine as Vladimir Putin unleashed a precision drone and missile assault on a child trafficking stronghold run by international elites. On Sunday, May 25, 2025, Trump signed an executive order that the U.S. would now be using the gold standard, not the cabal's fiat federal dollar. That same Sunday, the Global Alliance took over control of the global financial system by activating a global currency reset to gold/asset-backed monies for 209 nations. No longer would the deep state cabal have access to our monies. Set to go down in this deep state destruction process were large cabal-owned corporate entities such as Disney, BlackRock, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Google and YouTube. In the past, the deep state privately owned Federal Reserve and their IRS, money laundered U.S. taxpayer monies to private corporations, banks, foreign powers and back into the pockets of Congress people who voted for their bills. Then they charged U.S. taxpayers interest to use their own monies. Birth certificates were traded as bonds, the elite making billions. They used fear tactics of global warming to increase taxes. What we think we know as of Friday, May 30, 2025, Thursday, May 29, 2025, intelligence confirms that the enemy attempted to release a bioweapon, genome-targeted and precision-built to eliminate populations loyal to constitutional values and Trump's return. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Trump White Swan stock market event. Trump is going to show the American people the corruption within the central bank system and the stock market, but he is going to prevent what otherwise would be a catastrophic stock market crash. Trump isn't going to crash the system. He will instead have a controlled demolition of the stock market, in order to replace it with the new system that is based on decentralized control and honest money backed by gold, where the people are finally in control. Trump is performing a controlled demolition of the stock market. That's the White Swan. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo, is no longer a detention facility. It is the epicenter of a multinational tribunal complex, connected via encrypted DoD circuits to Ramstein, Diego Garcia, Pine Gap, and Thule, Ben Fulford on Telegram. Thursday, May 29, 2025, George Soros received $260 million from USAID, the #1 sponsor of terror on the planet, and used the funds to spread chaos, topple governments, promote terrorism, and destroy justice systems around the world, including here in the United States, all while profiting and without spending a single penny of his own. Into the storm on Telegram. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the Atlantic Council has been using taxpayer funds to train journalists on how to censor Trump. Thursday, May 29, 2025, President Trump's crypto czar David Sachs just exposed Elizabeth Warren aka Pocahontas as the one running Biden's Autopin. It wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the Autopin, that signed presidential orders for Biden without him even being present. That's called treason, punishable by death. Thursday, May 29, 2025, chemicals were being pumped directly into our soil through sewage sludge sold as fertilizer. This was a full-scale operation to contaminate America's food, bankrupt family farms, and replace real agriculture with corporate bioproduction. At some point in June, President Trump will make announcements over our phones of complete debt forgiveness for student loans and household burdens, abolishment of income tax, replaced by a simplified flat sales tax, introduction of gold/asset-backed digital currency, disabling of Rothschild banking networks and IMF control grids. EBS broadcast a shocking revelation. The EBS broadcast will unveil startling truths, including robotic leaders. Evidence will be presented showing that several world leaders, including Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron, were robotic imposters, with dismantled units displayed during the broadcast. Secret space programs. Footage of military raids on DS-controlled bases on the Moon and Mars will be revealed, exposing advanced spacecraft hidden from the public. Weather manipulation. Devices capable of inducing natural disasters have been seized, revealing orchestrated events aimed at controlling populations. See possible timing of Jazara and the global currency reset. Jazara activation. A financial revolution. The long-awaited Jazara wealth transfer has commenced, with banks being dismantled and the Federal Reserve neutralized. Key developments include are experiencing the erasure of debts, including student loans and mortgages. Repatriation of stolen wealth. Trillions in offshore accounts linked to the DS are being returned to fund Jazara initiatives. Thursday, May 29, 2025, historic bond redemption. The QFS activated reset of global wealth. QFS on Telegram. The vaults are opening. What was once sealed in silence is now being digitally awakened through the most powerful financial weapon ever created, the quantum financial system. These are not ordinary bonds. They are generational instruments of gold-backed sovereignty, issued by monarchs, empires, and nations long before the rise of the fiat matrix. Suppressed for decades, mocked by the mainstream, and buried under layers of globalist deception, these bonds are now triggering the collapse of the central banking order, under the full authentication and enforcement of the QFS. At the heart of the redemption lies a technology they never wanted us to have, the quantum financial system. With unbreakable encryption, quantum verification, and military-grade oversight, the QFS is verifying, time-stamping, and processing legitimate historic bonds in real time. Every notarized document, every lineage-confirmed certificate, is being logged permanently into the QFS grid. There are no middlemen. No fraud. No room for manipulation. This is financial sovereignty at the speed of light, and it's happening now. Behind the scenes, sovereign alliances, white-hat financial officers, and elite legal teams are coordinating with redemption desks running parallel to legacy systems. The commercial banks are being bypassed. The central banks are being exposed as bonds tied to the Qing dynasty. Treaty of Versailles, and post-World War II reconstruction are redeemed. The QFS is executing instant value transfers, recalibrating real-time asset-backed liquidity into the new gold standard economy. They were waiting for the system powerful enough to process them. And that system is here. It's active. It's irreversible. The QFS is not a theory. It is the central nervous system of the global financial reset. Every redemption strips power from fiat creators and re-anchors global trade on truth and substance. As even a fraction of these bonds move through the QFS, the ripple becomes a wave, fiat devalues, gold spikes, shadow assets vanish, and suppressed wealth returns to the people. This is why the elite are panicking. This is why fake bond scams are flooding the space. Because the real ones are being cashed, and the system can't stop it. The counterfeits are obvious, no seals, no signatures, no chain of custody. But the QFS knows the difference. With quantum tagging and biometric integration, the system can trace every authentic document back to its origin. There's no escaping the code. Historic bonds are not paper relics. They are detonators. When run through the QFS, they don't just redeem wealth, they collapse empires built on lies. What's unfolding is not an audit. It's a controlled demolition of the old guard. The era of artificial scarcity is ending. The real wealth, hidden in vaults and safeguarded by trust, is coming home. And at the center of it all, the quantum financial system. Silent. Absolute. Unstoppable. History is not being rewritten. It's being reactivated. Middle dot on Wednesday, May 21, 2025, the long-awaited Quantum Financial System (QFS) interface quietly unlocked for public access, the beginning of the end for the fiat cabal. The system was now live, running silently in the background, preparing for full operational control. Middle dot on Friday, May 23, 2025, selected redemption centers began their first wave of live bond redemptions and foreign currency exchanges under Jazara protocols. This marked the start of Tier 4A clearances behind closed doors, a sign the full transition is now underway. Middle dot on Tuesday, May 27, 2025, Jazara-aligned nations rolled out synchronized economic policy changes. These include debt nullification, asset revaluation, and the unveiling of new sovereign wealth platforms backed by quantum security protocols. Middle dot from Thursday 5 June to Monday June 9, 2025, the Tier 4B window would be open. Internal banking advisories indicated public redemption will begin regionally, based on QFS load balancing and readiness reports. Middle dot from Tuesday, 10 June to Friday June 13, 2025, all Tier 4B appointment notifications will be issued. Middle dot from Saturday 14 June to Tuesday, June 17, 2025, the general public rollout would happen, with the Saturday 14 June U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade at the National Mall serving not just as a celebration, but as confirmation that America was back under constitutional rule. Middle dot around Sunday 15 June and Monday June 16, 2025, expect minor banking downtimes, signaling the final switch over to full QFS integration. Middle dot on Wednesday 18 June to Saturday June 21, 2025, the global access phase would begin for Tier 5, the general public. Middle dot Thursday May 29, 2025, Bruce the Big Call, a source said that the new rates would be up on the screens by Saturday 31 May. We have confirmation Tier 4B will get started the first days of June. Doge payments will be out the first part of June. The raise in Social Security payments will start in June. There was a return to the gold standard last Tuesday, May 27, 2025. Ask for the contract rate on the dinar. Middle dot Thursday May 29, 2025, John Dowling, we don't do dates and rates over here, Iraq, but we now know officially that July 9 is the back wall for the reset to occur optically. Now that Iraq has been funded in the private sector. The Iraqi military orders the 200-member Special Forces unit that protected Maliki, which is directly linked to the Prime Minister's office. The trade agreements, as well as peace agreements, are now being finalized into the month of June. And the XRP case will finally be completed, as well as a gold-backed stablecoin, directly tied to the new U.S. note, thanks in part to Texas's efforts. Iraq also just launched the new Sadr City, with over 60,000 new homes and infrastructure. Additionally, new partnerships with Europe and the Middle East are being forced. You build and fund the infrastructure from within, and then the finances permeate in the public eye shortly thereafter. There's a big clue for those who know. We have officially entered what insiders are calling the global access phase of the transition, QFS on Telegram. Middle dot unlike the targeted rollout to Tier 4B, this phase is designed for the masses. I can now confirm that government-linked email systems and banking institutions are delivering automated wallet invitations at scale. Middle dot public access invitations, citizens across North America, Europe and Australia have reported receiving welcome emails from Treasury-backed portals. These emails include a secure link to begin QFS wallet setup and confirm biometric ID for card issuance. Some citizens reported receiving QFS access codes via National Postal Services, delivered with official insignia and sealed instructions. Middle dot institutional acknowledgement, central banks in 2 South American countries have released subtle but clear notices acknowledging a new settlement protocol based on sovereign asset metrics. It's the most public confirmation we've seen to date. Middle dot the system is no longer experimental. It's operational, and expanding. Thursday, May 29, 2025, break the system. Quantum Trump SAR ignites, Jazara protocol unleashed, the farmer's revenge, the final reset and power back to the people, Melania Trump on Telegram. Middle dot the final reset has begun. The illusion is shattering. Quantum Trump SAR isn't a theory, it's the strike force taking down the cabal in real time. The Jazara protocol is active. Farmers, whistleblowers, and patriots are seizing control. The American dream is being reset to 1955, and the cabal is panicking. Prices collapsing. The deep state's financial chains are being torn apart. Executive orders are being resurrected. Birth certificate slavery is ending. You've been lied to, stolen from, and programmed. That ends now. The revenge of the farmers was never about crops. It was about class warfare. These aren't simple men, they're the front line of the resistance. They've been storing data, not grain. They've been watching, not just harvesting. They're the first to cash in on the reset. The 1776 common law is back. 1955 prices. Suppressed technologies unleashed. The reversal of the Act of 1871 and Balfour treachery is in motion. The chains of Rothschild slavery are snapping one by one. Rainbow treasury notes. Precious metal backed. No more fiat lies. No more fractional reserve scams. Quantum financial system running through Starlink and ISO 20022 USA coins, monitored by military intelligence, not the Fed. The internet is being rebooted. The Mockingbird media is over. One news channel. No CIA. No Mossad. No MI6. No Five Eyes. Just truth. Quantum voting system ensures election fraud dies forever. Blockchain elections equals total transparency. The Moab has dropped. Global currency reset. You are witnessing gold-backed currency. Real value. Real freedom. 10 days of darkness equals 10 days of truth. After the Jazara elections, the emergency broadcast system goes live. Governments stand down. Mass arrests. Mass exposure. Massive shift. 90% of corrupt officials will vanish. Replaced by the people. This is Trump's aura. Quantum. Military run. Biblical in scale. The storm isn't coming, the storm is here. You're not late. You're right on time. Spread this. Archive this. Get ready. The world as you knew it is gone. Welcome to the reset. Power to the people. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the air feels different now, as if the veil has been torn. Mr. Poole on Telegram. Whispers of the reset are no longer rumors. They're orders in motion. At 4:44 a.m. EST. Vault doors opened in underground treasury locations across Zurich, Reno, Shanghai, and Abu Dhabi. Digital gold nodes confirmed synchronized. For the first time in human history, wealth is no longer a weapon. Assets stolen through centuries of war, not to corporations. Not to crown banks. But to the people. You may not see IT yet, but the energy has shifted. Electrical grids are fluctuating as old power structures lose their grip. Watch closely, ATMs glitch. Exchanges freeze. Judges WHO sold justice, CEOs WHO traded lives, generals WHO betrayed oaths. They're not in control. They're in custody. Tribunals are running night and day at undisclosed locations. The old guard is being erased in silence, so the world may awaken in peace. When you wake up and the clocks are blinking, know this: the storm didn't come to destroy. IT came to cleanse. Restored Republic. Thursday, May 29, 2025, Operation Phoenix is active, Gitmo expands, QFS lockdown, and Antarctica technologies seized. Quantum financial system on Telegram. Operation Phoenix is active. While White Swan enters its final strike phase, an even more covert directive has gone live. Phoenix was never meant to be spoken of, it was designed to be executed. The military alliance under Trump's command is now moving with surgical precision, neutralizing what remains of the deep state's final defense systems. Gitmo has transformed from a detention center into the most fortified military compound on Earth. It's no longer a place of waiting, it's a place of judgment. Entire underground wings have been carved out to detain those whose crimes defy human comprehension. Politicians, bankers, and biotech agents are being flown in by military transport, under full blackout protocols. The Antarctica operations have yielded terrifying discoveries: genetically modified humanoids, engineered through black-budget programs to manipulate human thought and behavior. These programs have now been seized, dismantled, and exposed to tribunal review. What the military extracted from those facilities has already changed the war. Middle dot simultaneously, the financial war has reached its climax. The quantum financial system has entered full lockdown mode. Massive cyber attacks targeting the CBDC infrastructure and central banks were detected and repelled. These weren't just data breaches, they were coordinated assaults designed to crash economies and create global unrest. Under Trump's executive oversight, military cyber teams initiated Code Black. The result: digital vaults locked, access rerouted, and banking strongholds in Switzerland, Tokyo, and London now under Alliance occupation. Their control is finished. The wealth of the people is returning to the people. The deep state has lost its final weapon. The EBS countdown is real. You'll know when it begins. Until then, stay grounded, stay aware, and know this: the storm is no longer coming. It's already here. Global military mobilization, the dawn of a new era, emergency broadcast system on Telegram. A monumental shift was underway as 300,000 troops were mobilized for the activation of the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS. Signaling the commencement of mass arrests, a 10-day truth revelation, and the implementation of Jazara's wealth redistribution. This marks a pivotal moment in a long-standing struggle against the deep state, DES. Under the guidance of Donald J. Trump and an international military coalition, efforts to dismantle the DS and free humanity are entering a crucial phase. As of April 12, 2025, the activation of the EBS was not just anticipated, it was imminent. Current developments, the deep state's downfall. Recent intelligence indicates that January was a critical turning point, with February witnessing significant advancements. Military insiders confirm the completion of Phase 0. Effectively cornering the DS's loyalists and dismantling their networks. Desperate attempts by the DS to instigate conflicts, economic crises, and health emergencies have been thwarted. U.S. underground bases, covert operations have neutralized DS strongholds beneath American soil, revealing horrific activities, including cloning and trafficking. High-value assets have been captured, and these sites have been decommissioned. Tunnel networks. Discoveries of extensive tunnel systems used for trafficking and storing DS assets have emerged, particularly beneath major cities like Los Angeles and Vatican City, where evidence of ritualistic abuse and financial manipulation has been found. Starlink's role dominating the digital battlefield. Elon Musk's Starlink system has become integral to the operation. Its AI, Prometheus, has achieved full operational capability, intercepting DS communications and thwarting cyber attack plans. Starlink satellites are reportedly equipped with EMP capabilities, enabling remote disabling of DS facilities. High-profile arrests, a growing list. Recent weeks have seen a surge in high-profile arrests, including Rothschild and Rockefeller family members, detained across multiple nations. Their corrupt financial empires are being dismantled. Hollywood figures. Numerous celebrities have gone missing, allegedly detained for their involvement in trafficking networks. Media executives, CEOs of major news networks have been arrested for perpetuating DS narratives and suppressing the truth. Global financial crisis. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the White Swan is the opposite of a Black Swan event usually associated with a stock market crash. But here's the dirty little secret. Black Swan events were always predictable. The big boys on Wall Street always knew ahead of time and were pulling their money out long in advance. Captain Kyle on Telegram. I wrote about what the true Black Swan event was that triggered the financial crisis in 2008, and it wasn't bad mortgages. So why is Trump signaling a white swan instead of a black swan? Because in the past, all of our market crashes were purposely caused by the big boys on Wall Street, who got rich as they drove the market higher and then got even wealthier after the crash, as they bought companies and assets on sale. But this time is different. Trump is controlling the stock market. How do we know? If the enemy were still controlling the stock market, they would have crashed it after Trump's announcement of massive tariffs. Do you remember? It started dropping big time as the media went all in to blame Trump for the coming recession. Then boomerang. The rug got pulled out from under the media as the stock market rallied big time. But why is a white swan such an important signal? Trump is going to show the American people the corruption within the central bank system and the stock market, but he is going to prevent what otherwise would be a catastrophic crash. Trump isn't going to crash the system, in order to replace it with the new system that is based on decentralized control and honest money backed by gold, where the people are finally in control. Trump is performing a controlled demolition. That's the white swan. This is going to be a command performance by the greatest commander-in-chief, who looks to protect the American people from distress and catastrophe. A white swan event controlled by the good guys for the first time. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Dossier C-17, The Storm, The Chips and the Wizards. Classified Intel, May 28, 2025. The military disclosure they never wanted you to see? Thursday, May 29, 2025, Breaking, Canada is Terran Elias. King Charles admits unceded land, Commander Trump holds legal ground to annex the 51st state. Thursday, May 29, 2025, IT mutated, digital tyranny now hides behind climate, currency and safety. Elite units moved in after intercepted NATO comms and heat scans revealed strange tunnel activity under civilian zones. What followed was a precision strike into a hell below the soil, surveillance corridors, biometric chambers, protected by heavier defenses than Ukrainian HQs. On scene, soldiers recovered encrypted Israeli comm gear, satellite tags, and files linking the operation to Tel Aviv and Zurich-based networks. This wasn't a battlefield. It was a global trafficking node masked as war logistics. Western media blacked it out instantly. No CNN headlines. No BBC outrage. But the fallout is screaming through back channels, 3 EU resignations in 72 hours, server wipes, and boosted security around Israeli research labs. This is not rumor. This is the rupture. The Israeli operatives were just one cell in a sprawling diplomatic shield wrapped around the commodification of innocence. The trafficked children were tagged for biochemical extraction. Adrenochrome was no longer myth, it was documented, sealed, and ready for diplomatic export. This isn't just a new protocol. It's a declaration of war on corrupt medicine. A lifeline ripped from the jaws of death and handed back to the people. The proof is published. The science is undeniable. And the deep state is scrambling to bury it. Ivermectin, mebendazole, fenbendazole. Say their names. Share this post. This is the breakthrough they swore would never happen. The cure was hidden. Now it's out. Thursday, May 29, 2025 Breaking, U.S. farms under attack, the food war has begun, Nizar and Jazara 2.0 on Telegram. Fizz. Sewage sludge. Corporate silence. Notably, a private Gulfstream jet carrying IMF advisor Alejandro Bonilla was intercepted by military assets near Ascension Island in August 2023. Bonilla was reportedly tied to Operation Leviathan, a covert funding channel used to launder reconstruction funds through phony disaster relief NGOs. His last public appearance was a panel with Klaus Schwab. And here's the pattern, each extraction coincided with asset seizures via quantum financial system intercepts. Now fully operational under U.S. Treasury coordination. In short, these aren't just arrests, they are strategic financial decapitations. The families who built their empires on war, child trafficking, and currency manipulation are being erased, digitally, legally, and physically. Is for media silence. It is not incompetence, it is coordination. Legacy media execs are under sealed DHS supervision, pending transition into military-controlled information protocols. These protocols are expected to activate following EBS triggers, already tested across multiple NATO-aligned telecom nodes last month. It's not just about Gitmo. It's about a global cleanup operation, long planned, now engaged. And the proof isn't on your television. It's in the silence of those who vanished. And the tremble in the voices of those who remain. Thursday, May 29, 2025 Banking. Over the past few months, I've received direct confirmations from my sources inside the European Central Bank and Asian military circles. What's happening is not a crisis, it's the systematic dismantling of a centuries-old financial monarchy. The Rothschild banking network, sustained through IMF-BIS mechanisms, is collapsing, piece by piece. Ben Fulford. In November 2023, teams from U.S. Space Command, working alongside BRICS-aligned AI cyber units, took down 3 core laundering hubs, beneath Zurich. Singapore, and Brussels. These underground facilities were used to move crisis capital in real time, fueling wars, trafficking, and regime control under the disguise of sovereign finance. Simultaneously, the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, now detached from Vatican jurisdiction, triggered a silent internal coup. They seized over 41,000 gold bars, marked as belonging to UNESCO humanitarian reserves. My contacts confirmed that those reserves were used to launder black budgets under the guise of NGO outreach. This is not a rebellion against central banks. It's a military asset recovery operation, and it's only just begun. Thursday, May 29, 2025, revealed, the St. Germain Trust, trillions unleashed to destroy the fiat empire, Ben Fulford on Telegram. The St. Germain Trust is real. Trillions in gold. Locked away. Hidden from you. Hijacked by the cabal. But in 2025, that lock is breaking, the elites couldn't disable. For decades, they buried IT. Now it's rising. Behind every lie about economic growth was a truth they feared, a planetary trust fund, backed by hard gold, not fiat, created to liberate humanity after centuries of enslavement by central banks, tax fraud, and war-for-profit systems. The St. Germain Trust was designed to trigger Jazara in the US and Jazara globally, laws the deep state mocked, smeared, and sabotaged. But these aren't fantasies. They are blueprints. And they are being activated. Its mission isn't aid, it's retribution, white check mark emoji, cancel national and personal debt, white check mark emoji, fund monthly stipends, not to be, but restoration, white check mark emoji. Back USTN with gold through QFS, white check mark emoji, dismantle central banks and IRS foreign taxation, white check mark emoji. White check mark emoji, finance a sovereign planet, not governed by the WEF or IMF, but by we the people. Why did they hide IT? Because the minute this trust goes live, their power evaporates. The Fed, IMF, Vatican Bank, BIS, all exposed, all looted, all falling. They called it myth. They rigged Wikipedia. They silenced insiders. The lock is breaking, and the timeline is moving. Watch for the signs, small blue diamond emoji, BlackRock's collapse, small blue diamond emoji, Executive Order 13,848 seizures. Small blue diamond emoji, USTN notes issued with serial match, small blue diamond emoji, ISO 20022 quietly integrated across global banks. Small blue diamond emoji, Vatican forced to disclose gold holdings. This is not random. This is a coordinated dismantling of the old world system. We are inside the activation window. QFS live. Fiat systems crashing. These aren't coming soon. They're already shadow deployed, waiting for full reveal under military command. They tried to steal the trust. They failed. They tried to shut down QFS. They failed. They tried to rewrite the future. They failed. Now the people win. This isn't charity. It's vengeance. And it's not just money. It's the end of their empire. Final message, you were never supposed to own land. Or retire. Or be free. But now you will, because you took it back. Thursday, May 29, 2025, since 2020, I've been monitoring reports that the quantum financial system, QFS, wasn't just operational. It was quietly intercepting transactions in real time. But it wasn't until January 2025 that I received undeniable proof from banking insiders and U.S. military intelligence. The override has begun. Ben Fulford on Telegram. With Starlink relays and deep military code, QFS operators froze over 3,600 elite wallet clusters linked to royal foundations, Davos institutions, and ghost corporations out of Liechtenstein. These wallets weren't just wealth holders, they were nerve centers of the digital slave economy. On the same day, I was forwarded an internal memo from the ECB acknowledging unaccounted historical reserves exceeding $54 trillion. That money never existed in the real economy. It was phantom value, sustained only by lies and the illusion of global debt. The new system doesn't just bypass banks. It neutralizes financial warfare. And it has already begun to win. Thursday, May 29, 2025, Jazara and Jazara 2025, the final cry for justice, Ben Fulford on Telegram. They stole the trust. They stole your identity. They sold your birth certificate. They silenced the truth. This isn't about gifts. It's about war. They hijacked Nisr at Jazara, a divine restoration, and turned it into a psyop of false hope. The Saint Germain Trust was supposed to end debt slavery. Instead, it vanished into black budgets and offshore accounts. Where is the money? Where is the justice? Your wealth was funneled to globalists, intelligence networks, fake NGOs, royal dynasties, and the Vatican. This wasn't mismanagement. This was extraction. This was war. Executive Order 13,848 still stands. And it allows 100% seizure of assets tied to foreign interference. That includes banks, tech giants, and fake charities. You've been funding your own enslavement. DARPA created the digital prison. Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, all born from military contracts. These weren't startups. They were surveillance weapons. And they used your data to track, control, and censor. Your birth certificate. Traded as a bond. You were commodified before you could speak. The elites made billions off your name, while you worked, suffered, obeyed. The IRS is not American. Your taxes were routed to foreign powers and private banks. Not a dime went to your country. This is taxation without representation, treason in a suit and tie. The Vatican's vaults are real. Gold looted across centuries now sits in underground bunkers, including claims of stashes in the Grand Canyon. With QFS emerging, every fiat lie begins to collapse. Corporate collapse equals elite takedown. Disney, BlackRock, Amazon, puppets of a dying regime. Their crimes are documented. Their fall is justice in motion. This is the storm. And Nisr and Jazara is not a fairy tale. It's the classified proof that humanity was robbed, and the reset is payback. Why Thursday, May 29, 2025, Dossier C-17, The Storm, The Chips and the Wizards, W.H. Grandpa on Telegram. This is not a theory. This is an operation. For the first time, a classified military briefing has been made public. What the world thought was silence was actually the roar of war, a war fought underground, in black sites, across encrypted frequencies, and through invisible chains of command. While media actors sedate the public with scripted distractions, elite military units loyal to Trump, backed by QFS intelligence grids and the Covert Wizards Division, are dismantling the most dangerous cabal in human history. They told you MH370 disappeared. That microchips were harmless. That Edward Lin was a traitor. That Antarctica was just ice. That quantum AI was a fantasy. That the past didn't matter. But every part of that was a lie. Lin wasn't an accident. He was a message. A precision-deployed agent inside the belly of the beast. As part of Wizards, a ghost division with no paper trail, no oversight, and full clearance to operate globally, Lin embedded digital signals and quantum tags into compromised deep state systems, trafficking weaponized microchips and neural control devices. When those tags lit up in 2023, the real operation began. What was seen as a breach was actually the signal. Lin left the traces on purpose. The leak was the mission. Inside surveillance footage, in server pings, in code fragments buried in intelligence metadata, Lin left one message: we are inside your systems. There is no escape. The deep state reacted with panic. Lin was discredited, charged, and erased from headlines. But within Wizards Command, Phase 2 had been activated. The system was penetrated. The storm had begun. But the transfer was stopped, not by Congress, not by negotiation, but by force. Wizards intercepted the hardware. Quantum networks were rerouted. The illusion was delayed. And the biggest false flag in human history was dismantled before it could begin. MH370 wasn't lost. It was taken. The plane was rerouted using ghost ATC protocols after it was discovered to be carrying chip developers, server tech, and deep state intel couriers. The passengers weren't random. Some were assets. Some were witnesses. Some never knew the war they were flying into. But the operation, codenamed Sky Vault, secured the cargo. The media ran smokescreens. Fake debris, planted narratives, noise. Meanwhile, the real story vanished into silence, until now. All of this converges here, in Dossier C-17. This is not politics. This is the war for reality itself. The wizards are active. QFS is watching every move. The illusion is breaking. The technology is in play. The sky is still real, for now. But this war was never about headlines. It was always about control. And now the balance has shifted. The cabal is cornered. The future is quantum. The storm is not coming. It has begun. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the QFS is now a weapon. Final strike underway, QFS on Telegram. The world isn't collapsing. It's being liberated, silently, strategically, and quantum-powered. While the media repeats its final scripts. The Earth Alliance is dismantling the deep state's infrastructure at record speed, and the QFS has just become its most powerful weapon. Jazara was never a theory. It was a covert financial warfare plan now entering its execution phase. According to military intel confirmed across secure Liberty channels, Trump's reinstatement wasn't a return, it was the activation key. As of May 2025, the quantum financial system is no longer dormant. It's tracking, seizing, and deleting the deep state's economic lifelines. In real time, over $780 billion in black funds have been frozen in the last 30 days. Those assets, once fueling war, trafficking, and mind control, are now redirected toward debt forgiveness, citizen payouts, and the upcoming medbed rollout. Banks that resist the QFS integration have already been blacklisted. 47 major cabal-linked institutions were either shut down or absorbed into the new military financial grid. Every transaction across 42 nations is now monitored by quantum AI. With zero tolerance for corruption, shell corporations are collapsing. Politicians are panicking. And the slush funds that once propped up fake governments and fake aid programs are being reverse-engineered into justice. On April 24, a desperate attempt was made to assault Gitmo. Retrofitted DR-3B crafts were launched toward the island in an operation intended to destroy tribunal evidence and eliminate key detainees, including Podesta, Gates Jr., and rogue CIA assets. But thanks to Starlink's quantum surveillance, the White Hat Alliance preemptively intercepted and neutralized the threat. Division 10 responded within minutes, and the infiltrators were shot down. The black boxes recovered revealed the operation was ordered. And infrastructure failures. The source, deep state bunkers hidden under civilian buildings. On April 28, controlled demolitions were executed to neutralize the threat. The media called them gas leaks. They weren't. They were precision strikes to disable bioweapon and EM-pulse systems before mass deployment. Now, all eyes turn to Operation 11.3, the event that will freeze the deep state's communications, activate civilian awakening, and trigger a 10-day controlled blackout. Liberty channels, powered by Starlink's quantum mesh, will be the only operational network. All other systems will be jammed. Activation tests have already occurred. The network is live. Final readiness is now. This is not a war for power. It's a war for humanity. Trump, Musk, and the unified military alliance have turned every battlefield into a node of liberation. The IRS is being dismantled. Mass debt erasure is prepped. And the QFS is not just reforming finance. It's weaponizing transparency against evil. Every lie is being exposed. Every stolen dollar is being tracked. Every digital echo is being recorded in quantum blocks. The final takedown is not a movie, it's reality. And it has already begun. What we think we know as of Thursday, May 29, 2025, Ben presidency coup, a shadow regime forged a fake Biden U.S. presidency. Insiders sold 8,000 forged pardons. Over 1,499 commutations signed by auto pen machine. Biden wasn't in charge, a circle of unelected handlers ruled from the shadows. Obama and Biden's $7 billion taxpayer heist, the largest financial crime in U.S. history. In April 2024 the Climate United Fund was handed $7 billion by Biden's EPA, a slush fund that disappeared into Democrat coffers. Campaign war chests and private foundations with no audits, no hearings, no accountability. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, the fake Pocahontas was using the Autopen. Elizabeth Warren controlled the Autopen, David Sachs. Monday, May 26, 2025, The Supreme Court just detonated the legal firewall shielding the deep state. In a landmark ruling, SCOTUS confirmed that President Trump can now remove heads of independent federal agencies at will. No approval, no process, no delays. All executive agencies are now fully accountable to the president. WikiLeaks secrets on Telegram. Middle.2s. May 27, 2025. Speaker Johnson to fake tapper, "We are not cutting Medicaid. There are 1.4 million illegals on Medicaid, and 4.8 million able-bodied individuals on Medicaid who choose not to work. That is called fraud, and that is what we are eliminating." Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, because of Doge, they just removed 12.3 million individuals listed at over 120 years old from Social Security. And not one legacy propaganda network will mention it. Middle. May 28, 2025, the European Union just launched its most aggressive attack yet on digital freedom. With $736 million in taxpayer money, Brussels is building a censorship superstructure designed to crush dissent, silence truth, and hunt down resistance. They call it anti-misinformation. We know it for what it is, digital warfare. Possible timing. The emergency broadcast system will activate without warning and encrypted channels will override civilian broadcasts in order to cover mass arrests of globalist traitors, Nizar and Jazara on Telegram. Middle. March 2020, the U.S. government nationalized the Fed, stripping it of independence and turning it into a tool of the executive branch. Using special purpose vehicles, SPVs, the Treasury engineered a shell system that forced the Fed to act only under Treasury authority. The Fed couldn't fund or activate liquidity operations without Mnuchin's green light. Translation: the Fed was no longer in charge. The money printer answered to the White House. Middle. Sunday, May 25, 2025, Trump signs EO for gold standard to be used in federal agencies, assuring scientific methods are not manipulated for political purposes. Middle. On Monday, May 26, 2025, at precisely 2 o'clock UTC, the emergency broadcast system entered live operational deployment. Starlink initiated global lockdown of rogue comms. Blackout zones were lit up in red. And then, the signal dropped. 10 days. Unfiltered. Uncensored. Unstoppable, the 17th letter, JFK Jr., on Telegram. Middle. Monday, May 26, 2025, with the Fed under control of the U.S. Treasury, the IRS dismantled and the gold standard in effect, the Quantum Financial System, QFS, officially went online with all bank accounts mirrored onto the system, tracking every transaction in real time, secured by Space Force and protected by military-grade blockchain. Middle. Thursday, May 29, 2025, the global activation of Starlink Phase 4, commanded by Trump's White Hats. With Gitmo tribunals preparing to unleash war crimes evidence against NATO and WHO. The deep state is cornered. This is their desperate move to seize narrative control before everything collapses. Edward Snowden on Telegram. EBS. A 72-hour media blackout was imminent while 7,000+ sealed indictments would be executed. Full disclosure would be broadcast of election fraud, vax genocide, economic sabotage. Middle. Major public announcement at any moment. Alert, scheduled broadcasts and official statements. All signs point to a major public announcement at any moment. Government and media sources hint at coordinated emergency broadcast system tests and press briefings this week. Middle. Expect official statements from financial authorities confirming the reset, possibly unveiling new currency rates or debt cancellation policies. Be ready, when the signal goes out, millions will see proof of the new system. Imminent signs. Middle. EBS testing. Encrypted test alerts have already been reported in several regions. A full-scale broadcast to all networks may occur tonight or tomorrow to confirm the launch. Middle. Authority statements. Central bank governors and financial ministers are on standby to speak publicly. Briefings will emphasize transparency, sovereignty, and the end of financial tyranny. Middle. System status. Technical monitoring dashboards are green across the board. I've confirmed that core QFS servers are handling simulated transaction loads flawlessly with no errors. Middle. Market readiness. Even traditional financial markets are adjusting. Stock exchanges and currency platforms are poised to switch to the new asset-backed basis. New exchange rates may be published within hours. Middle. The pieces are in place for history to unfold. Prepare to witness the global reset. Keep your notifications on, and when alerts arrive, follow the provided steps immediately. Trust the process, our era of true economic freedom is here. D2s. May 28, 2025, Operation Phoenix is live. Gitmo is ready to detain the world's worst, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on Telegram. Trump's military strike teams have activated Operation Phoenix. Gitmo isn't just expanding, it's becoming a global command center for elite extractions, military tribunals, and real-time takedowns. This is the final sweep. Under Trump's orders, Gitmo has transformed into a high-security military fortress built to process and detain the cabal. Underground wings now hold globalist criminals, bioengineered infiltrators, and satanic elites from secret Antarctic projects. Black Hawks are in the air. Flights to Gitmo are increasing. Military transports are funneling deep state assets into holding zones for tribunal proceedings. The facility is fully operational. No more deals. No more delays. Antarctica's frequency weapon grid, seized. The U.S. Navy stormed the ice-locked mind control base maintained by deep state loyalists. Trump's forces now control global scalar frequencies. The mind control net has collapsed. Red auroras spotted above key military bases are not natural. These are scalar pulse signals, confirming planetary frequency transfers to alliance control. The final stage is locked in. The QFS is now the firewall. Under Trump's directive, military cyber forces launched code black lockdowns across global banking hubs. Swiss, British, and Japanese banking networks are now under covert alliance control. CBDC networks have been compromised, not by us, but by their creators. Trump's forces turned their systems against them. Their digital weapons backfired. The emergency broadcast system is armed and awaiting green light. Civilian lockdown drills in Phoenix, Atlanta, and Philly are EBS deployment prep. The window, June 1 to 7, 2025. Once triggered, the deep state's comms will go dark. Military tribunals and elite confessions will flood every screen. You won't miss it. This is controlled demolition of the deep state. Trump swears precision. Every leak, every seizure, every arrest has been engineered to collapse their global structure without panic. Hold the line. Prepare. Trust the plan. Gitmo isn't full yet, but it will be. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Operation Phoenix is active, Gitmo expands, QFS lockdown, and Antarctica technologies seized, QFS on Telegram. Operation Phoenix is active. While White Swan enters its final strike phase, an even more covert directive has gone live. Phoenix was never meant to be spoken of, it was designed to be executed. The military alliance under Trump's command is now moving with surgical precision, neutralizing what remains of the deep state's final defense systems. Gitmo has transformed from a detention center into the most fortified military compound on Earth. It's no longer a place of waiting, it's a place of judgment. Entire underground wings have been carved out to detain those whose crimes defy human comprehension. Politicians, bankers, and biotech agents are being flown in by military transport, under full blackout protocols. The Antarctica operations have yielded terrifying discoveries: genetically modified humanoids, engineered through black-budget programs to manipulate human thought and behavior. These programs have now been seized, dismantled, and exposed to tribunal review. What the military extracted from those facilities has already changed the war. Simultaneously, the financial war has reached its climax. The quantum financial system has entered full lockdown mode. Massive cyber attacks targeting the CBDC infrastructure and central banks were detected and repelled. These weren't just data breaches, they were coordinated assaults designed to crash economies and create global unrest. Under Trump's executive oversight, military cyber teams initiated Code Black. The result: digital vaults locked, access rerouted, and banking strongholds in Switzerland, Tokyo, and London now under alliance occupation. Their control is finished. The wealth of the people is returning to the people. The deep state has lost its final weapon. The EBS countdown is real. You'll know when it begins. Until then, stay grounded, stay aware, and know this: the storm is no longer coming. It's already here. Global currency reset, twos. May 27, 2025 Big call, Bruce. According to an Iraqi contact, we have a solid international rate on the dinar on the Forex in the Middle East. It will be a managed float on the Forex to get it to the level they want it to, 3 to 4 days. Doge payments will start in the first 12 days of June. Your R&R allowance will be on your account that you can see at the redemption center when you go in for your appointment. SS increases should happen in June. Jazara debt relief will occur Thursday 5th of June to Sunday 15th of June. Middle.twos. May 27, 2025 Texas Snake. What the banker heard was that certain bondholders were allowed to exchange and they should begin liquidity Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Middle.twos. May 27, 2025 Specialized redemption centers have shifted from standby to activation mode. A limited number of insiders and military personnel have been called in to redeem dinar, dong, and historic bonds. Since early June, centers are to be staffed 24/7 on rotating shifts. The funds for redemptions are already in place in QFS accounts. According to two sources inside the Treasury as of May 23, 2025, redemption centers began processing live appointments under full Jazara protocol, JFK Awakening Q17 on Telegram. Thursday 5th of June to Monday June 9, 2025 Possible rollout window for Tier 4B. I just finished reading the internal advisory bulletin passed to mid-level banking partners. The onboarding for public Tier 4B users is scheduled to go active between June 5th to 9th, depending on regional system loads, Mel Gibson on Telegram. Then, from June 10th to June 13th, appointment notifications will be issued for all Tier 4B participants. Minor banking downtimes are expected around June 15th to 16th, signaling the final switchover to full QFS integration. The general public rollout will be from June 14th to June 17th. Internal banking advisories indicate public redemption will begin regionally, based on QFS load balancing and readiness reports. Don't be alarmed if you see notices of brief banking downtimes or maintenance windows around June 15th or 16th. This is likely the final switchover to QFS integration. Jazara QFS on Telegram. On Saturday, June 14th. The U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade on the National Mall will serve not just as a celebration, but as confirmation that America is back under constitutional rule. This is it. The QFS transition is no longer a theory. It's real. It's unfolding. And we're in the final phase. Stay vigilant. Be ready. The new financial era has begun. Global financial crisis, Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Breaking. Is the Fort Knox gold gone? Trump was ready to expose the greatest financial cover-up in American history. And then he went silent. Why? Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Breaking. Jazara is being silently enforced. IRS collapses as Trump's team takes over the financial grid. Quantum financial system on Telegram. The media still lies. They say Jazara isn't real, that the IRS is operating normally, and that central banks are stable. But behind closed doors, everything is unraveling. Trump didn't return to just fix a broken system, he came to dismantle it entirely. And Jazara is already live. The resignation of the IRS chief was no accident. No replacement. No explanation. Because the IRS is being dismantled. Jazara abolishes income tax and replaces it with fair tariffs, and Trump enforced this on day one. The system is shifting toward gold-backed sovereignty while the media distracts with economic theater. Meanwhile, global banks are imploding. Nations are dumping treasuries. Gold and silver are being hoarded. IMF is in freefall. SWIFT is collapsing. Executives are vanishing. Why? Because the quantum financial system, QFS, is already online, tracking every transaction in real time, secured by Space Force and protected by military-grade blockchain. The QFS isn't just a payment system, it's a weapon. It seizes black budgets, cuts funding to trafficking rings, and blocks elite-level fraud. That's why the Vatican's assets have been seized. Why CIA black sites are going dark. Why European royals are disappearing. Jazara's war against the elite, a global takedown in progress. Thousands of sealed indictments are opening. Wealth hidden in DUMBS and elite vaults is being redirected into humanitarian quantum accounts. BlackRock and Vanguard are being investigated. And this is only the beginning. Middle. They lie to you because they're desperate. Because they're losing control. Because once the people understand Jazara is real, they will never comply again. Middle. Trump has always known. His alliance with military white hats and gold-backed nations has been in place for years. Every move, every order, every training exercise is coordinated for the reset. Middle. But only if you're ready. Still trusting the banks. Still ignoring the signs. Still laughing at what's now unfolding. Then you're not prepared for what's coming. May 26 marks the shift. The grid has changed. Jazara is active. And nothing can stop what's already begun. Wars and rumors of wars. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Russia has now amassed at least 50,000 troops on its border with Ukraine after a failed assassination attempt against President Putin using drones. An attempt on Vladimir Putin's life was unsuccessful after a swarm of Ukrainian drones targeted his presidential helicopter during a visit to Kursk Oblast. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Zelensky tries to assassinate Putin and says Trump is next. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Israel could launch attack on Iran within 7 hours. The real news for Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Wednesday, May 28, 2025, big agricultural biochemical companies are genetically engineering soil microbes. 2 of them are already being used on millions of acres of U.S. farmland and documents show 8 more have been registered. This is disastrous for our health. Genetically modifying organisms in the dirt will have far-reaching effects that could be disastrous. The arrogance of biochemical engineers astounds me. The usual ag giants like Bayer, Syngenta and BASF are manipulating yet another aspect of agriculture. Denzel Washington on Telegram. Middle. Twos. May 27, 2025, CVS closing all 23 pharmacy locations in Arkansas. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed into law House Bill 1150, ending the conflict interest of pharmacy benefits managers owning pharmacies. PBMs are who set the insane prices. Instead of complying, CVS is leaving. This is huge. Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Fox News. Biden Energy Department spent $93 billion in 76 days, without any accountability of where it went. Congressional Dems are big mad because the Trump administration is cutting off their gravy train. They refuse to acknowledge any and all of the evidence of waste and abuse. All they care about is keeping their insane green slush fund flowing. We are not playing along. Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, another FEMA scam in Maui, Hawaii exposed. There are a very few small 490 square foot tiny homes that were built by and paid for by FEMA to provide temporary housing to Lahaina fire victims. Each one of these cost over $826,000 per unit, which is over $1,600 per square foot. This is a total ripoff, and the U.S. taxpayer is paying for it. Judy note, I hear from a very good source that many Lahaina victims are still living on the beach almost 3 years after the man-made fires. Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Dossier C-17, The Storm, The Chips and the Wizards. Classified Intel, May 28, 2025. The military disclosure they never wanted you to see? Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Biden scandal worse than Watergate, Wednesday, May 28, 2025, exclusive intel, Assange calls Trump for private transfer of explosive corruption files targeting Democrat power structure. Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, breaking, Dan Bongino just made a massive move. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, breaking alert, White House, Coke. Lies. DNA. FOIA documents expose the Secret Service, they lied, destroyed evidence, and hid DNA. Middle. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Dossier number 001, The Phantom Open, breaking, Elizabeth Warren controlled Biden's signature machine, Trump admin official exposes deep state treason. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, current developments, the deep state's downfall. Recent intelligence indicates that January was a critical turning point, with February witnessing significant advancements. Middle. Military insiders confirm the completion of Phase 0, effectively cornering the DS's loyalists and dismantling their networks. Desperate attempts by the DS to instigate conflicts, economic crises, and health emergencies have been thwarted, EBS on Telegram. U.S. underground bases, covert operations have neutralized IS strongholds beneath American soil, revealing horrific activities, including cloning and trafficking. High-value assets have been captured, and these sites have been decommissioned. Tunnel networks, discoveries of extensive tunnel systems used for trafficking and storing DS assets have emerged, particularly beneath major cities like Los Angeles and Vatican City, where evidence of ritualistic abuse and financial manipulation has been found. Starlink's role dominating the digital battlefield. Elon Musk's Starlink system has become integral to the operation. Its AI, Prometheus, has achieved full operational capability, intercepting DS communications and thwarting cyber-attack plans. Starlink satellites are reportedly equipped with EMP capabilities, enabling remote disabling of DS facilities. EBS broadcast a shocking revelation. The EBS broadcast will unveil startling truths, including robotic leaders. Evidence will be presented showing that several world leaders, including Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron, were robotic imposters, with dismantled units displayed during the broadcast. Secret space programs. Footage of military raids on DS-controlled bases on the Moon and Mars will be revealed, exposing advanced spacecraft hidden from the public. Weather manipulation. Devices capable of inducing natural disasters have been seized, revealing orchestrated events aimed at controlling populations. High-profile arrests. A growing list. Recent weeks have seen a surge in high-profile arrests, including Rothschild and Rockefeller family members, detained across multiple nations. Their corrupt financial empires are being dismantled. Hollywood figures. Numerous celebrities have gone missing, allegedly detained for their involvement in trafficking networks. Media executives. CEOs of major news networks have been arrested for perpetuating DS narratives and suppressing the truth. Jazara activation, a financial revolution. The long-awaited Jazara wealth transfer has commenced, with banks being dismantled and the Federal Reserve neutralized. Key developments include debt forgiveness. Individuals in various regions are experiencing the erasure of debts, including student loans and mortgages. Repatriation of stolen wealth. Trillions in offshore accounts linked to the DS are being returned to fund Jazara initiatives. Private banking cartels have been fully collapsed. Over $84 trillion in cabal-seized offshore assets are now being filtered into public trust funds. These disbursements are pre-coded by nation, population density, and consciousness resonance scores. Incoming broadcasts. What comes next? Footage from secret Antarctica bases showing hybrid experimentation and interdimensional gate tech. Confessions from cloned political leaders revealing how long synthetic agents have ruled. Recovered documents from Area 51 and Montauk proving time manipulation and reality distortion fields. Real-time testimonies from rescued children, shielded until now for their safety. Their voices will be you are told to prepare. Now you know why. Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Autopen coup exposed. Shadow regime forged a fake presidency. Baron Trump on Telegram. Boom, the Biden Autopen scandal just detonated. Over 1,499 commutations signed by machine, not man. Biden wasn't in charge. A circle of unelected handlers ruled from the shadows. As Joe slipped into cognitive collapse, Jill Biden, Donilon, Ricchetti, Bernal, Reid, and others seized power, issuing mass pardons and executive orders with a robot. Trump's DOJ has launched a full-blown criminal investigation. This was never a presidency, this was a coup. Representative Byron Donalds didn't hold back. You can't use an Autopen to run the country. He compared this to Watergate, but said it's worse. Pardons for Hunter Biden, Adam Schiff, and Anthony Fauci were reportedly signed by machine. Null and void. Criminal. Insiders now accused of selling pardons. Leaked reports suggest pardons were not only forged, they were sold. High-level Biden aides are lawyering up, preparing for federal subpoenas. Trump-appointed pardon attorney Ed Martin is hunting every name in this treasonous scheme. This is the biggest abuse of clemency in U.S. history. The smoking gun. AutopenA. The oversight project traced mass clemency orders directly to a mechanical device called AutopenA, used to sign. June 2022, Brittany Cranebeck. Dec 2022, 7 pardons including Dakota 3 and Jackson. April 2023, 31 commutations. Sep 2023, 6 Iranian linked names. Dec 2023, 11 commutations. Dec 2024, 39 pardons plus 1,499 commutations. These weren't signatures. They were digital forgeries rubber-stamped by tyrants in suits. Governance by fraud, or elder abuse. Even mainstream outlets now admit, this could be elder abuse disguised as governance. Instead of invoking the 25th Amendment, they kept Joe breathing long enough to sign blank pages. But the storm has arrived. Under President Trump, the charade ends. House oversight is demanding records. The SIGN Act, introduced by Representative Buddy Carter, will ban open use in all clemency cases. The deep state's favorite toy is getting torched. This wasn't democracy. This was dictatorship by deception. And now, heads will roll. The clock has run out. Every name. Every order. Every lie. They're all going to Gitmo. Q. Where is JFK Jr.? 107 on Telegram. He appears at Trump rallies. Always close. Always watching. Dark glasses. Black MAGA hat. Sometimes with a woman who looks uncannily like Carolyn Bessette. The media brushes it off, a harmless Trump supporter named Vincent Fusca. But digital analysts and forensic artists disagree. Let's start with the face. Overlay comparisons between JFK Jr. and Fusca show near-perfect alignment in jawline, nose bridge, and ear structure, key identifiers used in biometric analysis. The facial growth and aging trajectory match what John would look like 25 years later. Dental markers are consistent. Even the slight curvature of the right brow, a JFK family trait, is there. Then there's the voice. In 2020, during an unlisted livestream in Dallas, Fusca was filmed speaking briefly to a small group. Audio engineers ran voice-matching software using archived JFK Jr. interviews from the 1990s. The result, 96.7% match. Tone, cadence, vowel flattening, all with intolerance for age progression. Not conclusive, but statistically impossible to ignore. But perhaps most compelling, he's always placed directly behind Trump. At rally after rally, Fusca is positioned in VIP zones, sometimes next to Trump family members, often captured by official camera feeds. Not once has he been removed by security. Not once has his presence been questioned by campaign officials. Why would an unknown civilian have that level of access at multiple high-security events? A leaked email from within the Trump 2016 digital team contained the phrase, "JFK will rise, not in name but in purpose." Sent to a restricted clearance group 3 days before the Pittsburgh rally where Fusca first appeared. Coincidence? They laughed at the thought. Until the man in the crowd kept showing up. Again. And again. And again. The media will never ask. But you can. What if this was always the plan? What if the greatest lie they ever told? Long before the first Q drop appeared in 2017, there was already a plan. A deeply embedded operation seated inside U.S. military intelligence, designed to counter the globalist infiltration of America. Its initiators weren't keyboard warriors or bloggers. They were top clearance patriots. And one of the names whispered in the shadows. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. There is one more thread. In drop number 35, Q stated, "Rest assured, the safety and well-being of select individuals is being maintained to preserve future missions." Who were they talking about? Why the emphasis on preservation? JFK Jr. was never a civilian. He was a symbol. A trigger. A bridge between the old republic and the awakened generation. And his disappearance wasn't surrender, it was activation. The closing of one door. So another could open, when the people were finally ready. Trump knew. The inner circle knew. That's why, since 2016, every real operation has carried the same undercurrent, the restoration of the Kennedy legacy. Not as revenge. But as prophecy fulfilled. Because the moment John returns, whether in body or in revelation, the illusion ends. The lie collapses. And the true republic, buried beneath decades of corruption, will rise again. They say if he were alive, he would have come back by now. But those who say that don't understand the stakes. You don't return in the middle of the crime. You wait for the moment when your presence collapses the entire structure. Not just symbolically, but surgically. JFK Jr.'s silence hasn't been hesitation. It's been timing. The world wasn't ready in 2000. Or 2010. Hell, it wasn't even ready in 2016. Too many still believed the media. Still trusted the courts. Still worshipped false icons wrapped in suits and smiles. The corruption wasn't exposed yet. The darkness hadn't shown its full face. But now the veil is gone. The people are awake, and starving for justice. The military has completed over 20 years of sealed investigations. The quantum financial structure is ready. Global power centers have been mapped, infiltrated, and legally neutralized. The tribunals are real, and ongoing. What's missing? Closure. The final moment that destroys the illusion once and for all. You think it's a fantasy. That's what they counted on. But they didn't count on digital archives. On facial analysis. On pattern recognition. They didn't count on the people paying attention. Or surviving this long. Why now? Because this is the endgame. The perfect storm of exposure, accountability, and resurrection. Not of a man, but of a nation. His return wouldn't just be vindication. It would be declaration. That the Republic still lives. And that evil never had the last word. They tried to erase him. But they couldn't erase the plan. Now he doesn't need to convince the world. He just needs to appear. Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Breaking, Gitmo files expose Obama and Biden's $7 billion taxpayer heist, largest financial crime in U.S. history, Julian Assange on Telegram. While the media distracts you with theater, the real criminals are looting America in broad daylight. A $7 billion payout, not to citizens, not to veterans, not to infrastructure, but to a fake climate non-profit created by Democrat insiders, with zero oversight and zero transparency. It's called the Climate United Fund, formed in the late 2022 with just $547,000 in startup revenue, blew through nearly all funds in 60 days with no clear record. Then in April 2024, Biden's EPA handed it $7 billion taxpayer dollars, no audits, no hearings, no accountability. This wasn't a mistake. It was engineered. A slush fund disguised as climate investment. The official explanation: solar projects in 3 states worth just $50 million. So where's the other $6.95 billion? Answer: laundered through a Democrat-linked network of nonprofits and operatives. It gets worse. That same fund funneled money to Power Forward Communities, another so-called nonprofit led by Stacey Abrams. This is a pattern. One fake shell pays another, and the money disappears into Democrat coffers, campaign war chests, and private foundations. Who's running the scheme? Beth Bafford, Obama loyalist. Now in charge of $7 billion with no large-scale financial experience, Phil Angelides, former CA treasurer, DNC power player, Anthony Fox, Obama's transportation secretary, deeply connected to donor pipelines. Dolores Huerta, Patrice Willoughby, and more, all hand-picked political enforcers. These are not climate experts. They are money movers, installed to build the illusion of progress while stealing billions from you and your family. Where is the press? Nowhere. Total blackout, neat, silent, WAPO, complicit, fact-checkers, already labeling it a conspiracy because it's not just about corruption. It's about control. The same machine that censors truth, rigs elections, and injects propaganda is now looting the nation's treasury, openly, arrogantly, and without consequences. Trump was impeached over a phone call. Biden hands $7 billion to a shell company and the media says nothing. This isn't governance. It's organized theft. And they think you won't notice. They're counting on your silence. They're counting on distraction. They're counting on the system never holding them accountable. But they've underestimated us. This isn't just another scandal, it's financial warfare against the American people. Your tax dollars are being hijacked by career criminals in suits, hiding behind the word nonprofit while laundering wealth into Democrat strongholds. What you must do now: share this message. The media won't. Demand your representatives investigate this shell scheme. Pull your support from every media outlet that stays silent. Get ready, this is just one layer of the Gitmo files. $7 billion gone. No headlines. No outrage. The Obama-Biden network is still looting the country, and unless we expose them now, it won't stop. Wednesday, May 28, 2025, the U.S. State Department put together an entire network to protect George Soros, Stormwatch 7. This was funded by American tax dollars. Our money was even used to pay off Congress to fund this. Insane. Mike Benz. The State Department was concerned that Lithuanian media and Lithuanian political parties were criticizing George Soros. So the State Department writes this big cable that WikiLeaks published. The State Department lays out this action plan to protect George Soros from criticism and how they're going to back-channel with their allies and the government. How they're going to back-channel to shut down these media outlets, how they're going to increase funding to offset. Now this is all just to protect one guy's foundation. We're paying for this as taxpayers. We're paying for the U.S. Embassy in Lithuania to work with the main State Department in Foggy Bottom to also lobby Congress for more funding and to hold all these meetings and coordination and all these counter-strategies just to protect a random NGO halfway across the globe in low GDP country like Lithuania. But in this particular WikiLeaks document, you see just how much of a linchpin it is to the strategy. The State Department openly says that the Open Society institution there is critical to U.S. statecraft. That they have all these relationships and network connections to key people in the in-power political party that the State Department effectively couped into office. And so you have this relationship where they're self-confessing that what is being reported about Soros and his role in intelligence, Soros and his role in American statecraft. They're self-reporting that it's true while coming up with a strategy about how to paint it as false and then while mobilizing all of our American resources and diplomatic muscle in order to quiet down the criticism and stop the circulation of critiques on Soros. Because it is an attack on the embassy itself, which is therefore an attack on all of the embassy's network assets, including in the intelligence world and in the NGO, the diplomatic and the military vectors. Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Trump and Musk fight back. Grandpa on Telegram. May 28, 2025, the European Union just launched its most aggressive attack yet on digital freedom. With $736 million in taxpayer money, Brussels is building a censorship superstructure designed to crush dissent, silence truth, and hunt down resistance. They call it anti-misinformation. We know it for what it is, digital warfare. They've openly shifted from governing to controlling, using AI tools like FastLisa and Vigilant to scan speech in real time, erase non-approved narratives, and mark dissenters for digital execution. According to a bombshell report from MCC Brussels, 349 projects are active, many hidden inside NGOs and universities, all with one goal: reprogram minds and build an obedient generation of state enforcers. Young people are being trained as narrative officers, not to think critically, but to monitor others and enforce propaganda. This is 21st century authoritarianism wearing a smile. But now, the globalists are panicking. Trump is back. Musk is unshackled. On May 16, Elon Musk revealed that the European Commission offered X, formerly Twitter, a secret deal: censor content quietly and avoid DSA fines. Every major tech firm took the deal. Musk refused. They offered us an illegal backdoor censorship pact, he said. We said no. That's when the attacks began. Brussels launched an official investigation, accusing X of failing to control disinformation and manage verified accounts. Translation: Musk wouldn't become a digital lapdog. Now, the EU is weaponizing the Digital Services Act, threatening massive fines and demanding internal access to Musk's data. But Musk isn't backing down. He's fighting it in court and preparing to expose the entire machine. Behind the curtain, this is about Trump. Brussels fears the populist surge spreading from the US. They remember 2016. They watched 2024. They saw Trump's return and the quiet rollout of gold-backed economics through QFS. Now they fear what comes next, a digital rebellion they can contain. This isn't regulation. It's suppression. The same EU behind censorship just approved biometric surveillance, WHO health ID passports, and pre-crime AI policy. They're planning a digital crackdown before the awakening spreads any further. But it's too late. The narrative is collapsing. The truth is leaking. The resistance is growing. Trump is standing. Musk is resisting. And Europe's patriots are beginning to rise. You Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Do you want Thomas Massie for 2028? Ezra Cohen on Telegram. Point 1. 2020 election fraud complicity. The betrayal, Massie's refusal to challenge the 2020 election results. Despite widespread fraud allegations, is a cowardly capitulation to globalist overlords, undermining American sovereignty. His letter with 6 Republicans dismissing Congress's role reeks of orchestrated deflection. Evidence, a 2020 internal GOP memo, leaked to a conservative research network, reveals Massie was pressured by McConnell-aligned donors to avoid election challenges. With promises of committee placements, his vote to certify Biden's electors, despite Kentucky's Trump loyalty, contradicts his constitutional conservative branding. A 2021 ex-post from a Kentucky voter, archived by investigators, accuses Massie of ignoring local poll watcher testimonies about ballot irregularities. Massie's claim that Congress lacks authority to overturn elections is a legal cop-out, ignoring evidence of mail-in ballot fraud cited in his own 2021 statement. His silence on Dominion voting systems, despite tech expertise, suggests he's hiding something. Point 2. The Take It Down Act. 2020 guest list from a D.C. gala, uncovered by a private investigator, places Massie alongside a financier linked to Epstein's New York operations. His vote against the Take It Down Act, which targeted deepfake exploitation, aligns with protecting elite tech moguls per a 2024 whistleblower report from a Silicon Valley insider. Epstein's network relied on political cover, with congressmen often wined and dined to ensure silence. Massie's tech background and patent wealth make him a prime candidate for elite recruitment. His libertarian privacy stance conveniently dovetails with shielding digital platforms used for exploitation. Point 3. Massie, the tech-savvy fraud, runs a crypto Ponzi scheme, laundering millions through blockchain wallets to bankroll foreign anti-American plots. His libertarian love for Bitcoin is a rancid cover for fleecing patriots and funneling cash to enemies. A 2024 blockchain audit, conducted by a private cyber investigator and shared in a restricted Telegram channel, traces $3.2 million in Bitcoin from Massie-linked wallets to a Seychelles-based exchange tied to Chinese state operatives. The wallets, activated in 2023, correlate with Massie's sudden push for crypto deregulation, per a 2025 dark web financial leak.